Hello, dear friends. I'd like to share with you my observations on choosing scissors. I'm not going to tell you how to choose scissors so that they fit comfortably in your hand. Any professional who has worked for at least 6 months no longer needs advice on that. They already know perfectly well what kind of scissors they need. Their hands are already used to it. Let's talk about how to choose scissors when you come to the store, which is very important. It often happens that we go buy a tool, come to work, and then find out that something's wrong with it. Maybe they snag, or the tips don't cut well, or the cut itself isn't satisfactory, and so on. How can we diagnose this right in the store? So when you come to the store, ask for the scissors that caught your eye, take them in your hand, and try making a cut with them. That is, just close them in the air and pay attention to how they feel. The effort required to close the scissors should be almost the same throughout. In other words, the effort required to close the scissors at the heel and at the tip should be almost the same. If the effort increases as you close the scissors toward the tips, it means that the geometry of the scissors was slightly off during manufacturing. If you pay attention, hopefully you can see it. The blades of the scissors are not straight, they have a slight inward curve. This curve should be uniform on both blades. If one of the blades was bent or straightened incorrectly, then accordingly the effort required will increase, which again will lead to increased fatigue and premature wear of the tips. Many professionals often complain that the tips are the first part to stop cutting properly. Of course, this can be due to natural wear or damage sustained during use, for example, from nicking a comb. But very often this also happens when buying low-quality scissors or scissors with a manufacturing defect. In other words, one of the possible factory defects in scissors is incorrect blade geometry. That is, one blade is curved differently than the other. How else can you check this? You can open the scissors so that there is a gap of about 2 or 3 centimeters between the tips. And look at the scissors like this. You can cover one eye and look. The tips should form a straight line. If one of the tips veers to the side, it means they are bent. So ask for a different pair of scissors. You can choose, since it's rare to find truly unique tools here, don't hesitate. Ask them to lay out all the scissors of that brand or type that you like and pick the best one. After all, you're paying quite a bit for this tool. You deserve to choose exactly the one you need. So what do we have? Open them up. Look at the tips. The tips are perfectly aligned. The resistance when closing the scissors does not increase toward the tips. That means the geometry is good. Now the adjustment of the scissors. Properly adjusted convex scissors should hold this position. In other words, they shouldn't suddenly drop closed. Hold on a second, let me show you on a pair of scissors where it's easier to adjust. Most professionals use scissors with this kind of tension, saying that it's more comfortable for them, that they like it when the scissors move freely. And again, if we look back at the old school when professionals used to work with the first Jaguar or Mogilev scissors or those made by Krasny Metallist, the tension of the scissors was checked in this way. That's a thing of the past now. This type of adjustment is no longer suitable for convex scissors, for more modern ones, for Japanese-style scissors. The tension should be such that the scissors do not close on their own, but still have a smooth, soft movement. Let's go back a little bit again. If you pick up a pair of scissors in a store and they're too loose, ask the salesperson or adjust them yourself to the proper tension. In other words, the scissors should close easily, but without any slack. By the way, with incorrect blade geometry, it's often the case that the scissors don't move smoothly here, then there's a dip, and closer to the tips, the scissors get stuck. Again, this relates to the point that the force required increases at the tips. I've seen some professionals try to check scissors by holding them up to the light. But in reality, that's a pointless exercise. That method works for manicure scissors. With hairdressing scissors, you won't really see much. The only thing you should do is open them like this, look at the tips, and test how they move. If the movement is smooth, that's good. Don't hesitate to bring a simple piece of cotton or a non-woven material with you to the store, like a disposable towel or a soft collar. You can use it to check. Every professional knows this, let's say, old-school way to test the sharpness of scissors. It really works, and manufacturers use this method as well. For example, in factories in Japan, when testing scissors, they check them on non-woven material in addition to hair, non-woven material and cotton. Because it's a very fine, soft fiber, it allows you to clearly determine the quality of the cut. So we can see that the scissors cut cleanly with no snags or crushing, and there's no need to cut a large bundle. To determine the quality of the scissors, we need to fluff up the cotton, make it very thin. In other words, not give the scissors the slightest chance to hide any defect. So we make a cut from the heel, then one in the middle, and then at the tips. We close the tips and lower them down. If none of the fibers are pulled along with the scissors, it means the scissors geometry is precise and the sharpening is perfect. These scissors will last a long time. So what else can we do? But this next method is a bit intimidating. Many hairdressers are afraid of it, but there's nothing to worry about. The fingernail. Our nails, when testing scissors, serve the same purpose as a needle on a phonograph, which draws sound from a record. So by placing your nail on the cutting edge, without applying pressure, you gently slide it down. Just slide it along the blade. Any slightest unevenness, burr, or damage, you'll feel it immediately. Doing this with your hands is dangerous. You could cut yourself, and you won't get any tactile feedback either. If you gently run your nail along it, don't worry. It's absolutely safe for both your nail and the scissors. You'll get a complete sense of the condition of the cutting edge. If your nail glides smoothly, then the cutting edge is perfect. You can buy scissors like these. So we've already determined that the scissors cut well, will make clean, precise cuts, and have no damage on the blades. When you start working, you can be confident that you have a reliable, properly functioning tool in your hands. Don't be shy about making your complaints to the sellers. And since many hide, for example, the fact that during transportation or even display on the display case, the scissors fall, they were picked up, shaken off, checked. Well, they seem to work and put away. Feel free to test your instrument. It's your money, it's your instrument. What will you do with it when you come to the salon? The master will be sitting in your chair and you won't be able to service them. That will be bad for both you and the client. Don't be afraid to stand up for your rights with the seller. What else should you pay attention to? The screw assembly is also a very important point. Of course, everyone has already heard a lot about them, but I still have some recommendations. There is the screw assembly and the so-called minus shape screw or simple screw, right? A regular screw, which is for a flathead screwdriver, and on the other side it screws into the body of the scissors. It's not a bad screw. It's been serving us for hundreds of years now. But still, this is the most basic and least reliable way to fasten scissors because the screw connection often loosens, the scissors quickly become slack and accordingly break down quickly. I would like to draw your attention to scissors with a screw assembly that has an external spring. This large metal plate here also serves as a spring. It presses one blade of the scissors against the other. They are remarkably easy to maintain, primarily because all of their individual parts are quite large, specifically a substantial nut, and also a very robust spring. They are easy to adjust. The scissors are easy to clean and lubricate. Some people say, I've heard from someone, but this is probably just someone's concern that won't the hair get caught? We tried it with a large number of hairdressers and stylists. No, the hair does not get caught. Only if you intentionally wind the hair around it. Some people are put off by this large protrusion. No, it doesn't interfere with work at all, but with it, the scissors maintain the correct blade tension for longer. It allows for timely adjustment, and the lifespan of this screw connection is practically unlimited. A similar disc screw. It also has a locking mechanism. I hope you can hear that there are clicks. That is to say, there is an internal locking plate situated inside, which effectively prevents the scissors from inadvertently loosening on their own. To comprehensively sum up, what key aspects should we meticulously pay attention to? When selecting scissors, we should carefully examine the precise curvature of the blades, diligently ensure the tension is perfectly even, that the scissors do not exhibit any undesirable slack or excessive play, but at the very same time they should still close with remarkable ease. The geometry of the blades should be straight. In other words, check the tips to make sure they are even. Don't be afraid to test them. Check with your fingernail, cut some cotton. Thank you.